I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever.
From a troubled kid with 38 arrests by age 13 to the youngest heavyweight champion in history at 20, Mike Tyson's life is a story of extremes, filled with triumph and controversy. But what dark forces shaped the man known as Iron Mike? In today's video, we dive deeper in his personal life. Born on June 30th, 1966 in Brooklyn, New York, Tyson's early years were marked by poverty and crime. He grew up in rough neighborhoods, surrounded by violence and limited opportunities. His path seemed destined for prison or worse until boxing trainer Cus D'Amato discovered his raw talent and took him under his wing. D'Amato's influence transformed Tyson's life, channeling his aggression into the ring. At 20, Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion ever, shocking the boxing world with his ferocious style and knockout power. But beneath the surface, the demons of his past continued to haunt him, setting the stage for a career filled with incredible highs and devastating lows. But how did a troubled kid from Brooklyn's mean streets transform into the most feared boxer on the planet? The making of Iron Mike is a story of raw talent, relentless training, and a fateful encounter that would change the course of boxing history. Mike Tyson's childhood was a crucible of hardship and violence. Growing up in the tough neighborhoods of Brooklyn, he was surrounded by crime and limited opportunities. By the tender age of 13, Tyson had already been arrested 38 times for petty crimes and fighting. His first fight, ironically, was sparked by an act of cruelty towards one of his beloved pigeons. It seemed Tyson was destined for a life behind bars until a twist of fate landed him at the Tryon School for Boys in Johnstown, New York. It was here that his innate boxing talent caught the eye of Bobby Stewart, a juvenile detention center counselor and former boxer. Stewart saw potential in the young Tyson and began to train him, but he knew the boy needed more than he could offer. Enter Cus D'Amato, the legendary boxing manager and trainer who would become the pivotal figure in Tyson's life. D'Amato saw in Tyson not just a gifted athlete, but a boy in desperate need of guidance and discipline. When Tyson's mother passed away, D'Amato became his legal guardian, providing the stability and direction that had been sorely lacking in his life. Under D'Amato's tutelage, Tyson's raw aggression was honed into a formidable boxing skill. The results were immediate and impressive. As an amateur, Tyson claimed gold medals at the 1981 and 1982 Junior Olympic Games, defeating Joe Cortez and Kelton Brown, respectively. His amateur career culminated in 1984 when he clinched the gold medal at the National Golden Gloves in New York, besting Jonathan Littles. Tyson's transition to professional boxing was nothing short of meteoric. He made his pro debut on March 6, 1985 in Albany, New York at the age of 18. His opponent, Hector Mercedes, fell to a first-round TKO, setting the tone for Tyson's early career. What followed was a streak of devastation unlike anything the boxing world had seen. Tyson won his first 19 professional fights by knockout, with 12 of those knockouts coming in the first round. His rise to prominence reached new heights on February 16, 1986, when he faced journeyman heavyweight Jesse Ferguson in his first nationally televised bout. Tyson's performance was a showcase of his devastating power and technique. He broke Ferguson's nose with a vicious uppercut in the 5th round, ultimately winning by technical knockout. But it was on November 22, 1986, that Mike Tyson truly became Iron Mike. At just 20 years and 4 months old, he stepped into the ring with Trevor Berbick for the WBC Heavyweight Championship. The fight was a display of Tyson's explosive power and unique fighting style. Tyson's trademark crouching stance and the spring of his legs added tremendous force to his punches. Berbick couldn't withstand the onslaught, and Tyson claimed victory by TKO in the 2nd round, becoming the youngest heavyweight champion in history. Tyson's ascent didn't stop there. In 1987, he added the WBA and IBF titles to his collection, defeating James Smith and Tony Tucker. In doing so, he became the first heavyweight boxer to simultaneously hold the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles, and the only heavyweight to unify them in succession. The boy from Brooklyn had reached the pinnacle of boxing, but the demons of his past were far from exorcised. As Mike Tyson's star rose in the boxing world, the foundation of his success began to crumble. The death of his mentor and father figure, Cus D'Amato, in November 1985 left a void in Tyson's life that would prove difficult to fill. This loss came at a critical juncture in Tyson's career, and many speculate it was a catalyst for the troubles that would soon follow. With D'Amato's steadying influence gone, Tyson's personal life spiraled into chaos. His marriage to actress Robin Givens became a public spectacle, marked by allegations of violence and mental instability. The union, which began with promise, ended in a bitter divorce on February 14, 1989. leaving Tyson emotionally scarred and increasingly unstable. By 1990, Tyson's life outside the ring was in disarray. The lack of direction and focus contributed to one of the most shocking upsets in modern sports history, his defeat at the hands of Buster Douglas in Tokyo. This loss not only stripped Tyson of his aura of invincibility, but also exposed the cracks in his once impenetrable armor. The true extent of Tyson's fall from grace became apparent in July 1991 when he was arrested for the rape of 18-year-old Desiree Washington. The ensuing trial, which lasted from January 26 to February 10, 1992, captivated the nation and exposed the darker side of the boxing champion. Evidence mounted against Tyson. His chauffeur testified about Washington's state of shock after the incident, and an emergency room physician confirmed her physical condition was consistent with rape. Despite Tyson's insistence that everything was consensual, the jury found him guilty. On March 26, 1992, he was sentenced to 6 years in prison and 4 years of probation. Tyson's incarceration at the Indiana Youth Center marked a turning point in his life. He described this period as the best 3 years of my life, finding a sense of peace and sanity behind bars. During his time in prison, Tyson converted to Islam and worked on his personal development. He also maintained a rigorous training routine, dropping from 285 pounds to 215 pounds in preparation for his eventual return to boxing. Despite his efforts at rehabilitation, Tyson's celebrity status followed him into prison. He received visits from notable figures, including musician Tupac Shakur, highlighting the complex relationship between his notoriety and his attempts at personal growth. Upon his release in March 1995, Tyson wasted no time in returning to the ring. His comeback fight against Peter McNeely ended in a quick knockout victory, which Tyson described as an ego-boosting moment. He said, "I needed to win to show I was unbroken by my incarceration." However, the impact of Tyson's conviction and imprisonment on his career and public image was profound. The once unbeatable boxer now carried the stigma of a convicted rapist. His reputation, both in and out of the ring, would never fully recover from these events. The fall of Mike Tyson from the heights of boxing glory to the depths of personal and legal troubles serves as a cautionary tale. It highlights the destructive power of unchecked aggression and the importance of maintaining a strong support system. Tyson's story reminds us that even the most formidable athletes are not immune to the consequences of their actions outside the ring. Tyson's release from prison in 1995 marked the beginning of a tumultuous chapter in his life, filled with both triumphs and controversy. The world watched eagerly as the former champion stepped back into the ring, wondering if he could reclaim his former glory. But would his time behind bars have changed him, or would the same demons that plagued him before continue to haunt his career? Tyson's comeback started strong. He quickly regained the WBA and WBC titles in 1996, proving to many that he still had the skills that made him a legend. However, his reign at the top was short-lived. Later that year, he was stripped of the WBC title, and his hold on the WBA title came to an end when he faced Evander Holyfield. In a surprising turn of events, Holyfield stopped Tyson in the 11th round, delivering a significant blow to Tyson's comeback aspirations. But it was the rematch with Holyfield in 1997 that would go down in boxing infamy. In a moment of frustration and desperation, Tyson bit off a portion of Holyfield's right ear. The boxing world was stunned. This shocking act led to Tyson's disqualification and severe consequences. The Nevada State Athletic Commission rescinded his boxing license, slapped him with a $3 million fine, and required him to pay the legal costs of the hearing. Despite these setbacks, Tyson continued to fight. His 1999 comeback bout against Francois Botha showcased both his struggles and his enduring power. Botha initially controlled the fight, but Tyson managed to knock him out in the 5th round. This pattern of controversy, followed by flashes of his old brilliance, became a recurring theme in Tyson's later career. The boxer's personal life remained as turbulent as his professional one. Struggles with substance abuse and violence continued to plague him. In 1999, he found himself back behind bars for assaulting 2 motorists. Years later, in 2007, he pleaded guilty to drug possession and driving under the influence, further evidence of his ongoing battles with addiction. Tyson's financial situation also took a dramatic turn. Despite earning over $300 million during his career, he filed for bankruptcy in 2003. Reports at the time indicated he had accumulated approximately $23 million in debt. The man who once stood atop the boxing world now faced financial ruin. Throughout this period, Tyson's career was a study in contrast. His boxing prowess, though diminished, still commanded attention. In 2000, after knocking out Lou Savarese in just 38 seconds, Tyson boldly proclaimed, "I'm the best ever. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their cloth." Yet, this bravado often stood in stark contrast to his personal struggles and legal troubles. Tyson's last shot at heavyweight glory came in 2002 when he faced Lennox Lewis for the the world title. The fight ended with Tyson knocked out in the 8th round, a fitting metaphor for a career that had seen such dramatic highs and lows. Looking back on his time in prison, Tyson offered a surprising perspective. He described it as the best 3 years of my life, stating that he found peace and sanity there, despite missing his financial fortune. This statement provides a poignant insight into the internal struggles Tyson faced throughout his career, even at the height of his success. After his tumultuous boxing career, Mike Tyson faced a new challenge, finding purpose beyond the ring. His journey from disgraced champion to cultural icon was far from smooth. Tyson's post-boxing life saw him venture into unexpected territories, from Broadway to Hollywood. He appeared in films, launched a podcast, and even started a cannabis business. But perhaps his most significant transformation came through his embrace of Islam, which he credits for bringing stability to his life. Despite these changes, controversy never strayed far from Tyson's path. His legacy remains complex, a mix of athletic brilliance and personal demons. Tyson himself reflects on his journey with surprising candor, once stating, "I'm a dark guy from a den of iniquity. I came from the bottom." This raw honesty continues to captivate the public, ensuring that Iron Mike's story remains far from over.